Okay, sit yourself onto your left and then come into a good cross-legged position. Just spotlight, I think I forgot to do that. And then just come into a good cross-legged position, just have a little wriggle about, hold onto your knees, elevate the heart area up towards the ceiling, and then draw your shoulders down away from your ears, look down at the floor, look at something that doesn't move. Just focus on filling your lungs from the bottom to the top and emptying them from the top to the bottom. Feeling how the chest expands with the in-breath and relaxes with the out-breath. Release your hands, bring your hands into Namaste, press the palms firmly together. Lengthen from your armpits into your elbows, from the elbows into the heels of the hands, from the heels of the hands into the fingertips. As you lengthen from the heels of the hands to the fingertips, feel how you also lengthen in the spine. To gently close and focus on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. Filling your lungs from the bottom to the top and emptying them from the top to the bottom. With an exhalation, draw your chin forwards and down to meet the chest. Lift your chest up to meet your chin. Just spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. Spend a moment to acknowledge, to generate a feeling of positivity and thankfulness for something or someone or somewhere. Hold on to that feeling of abundance in the heart area and release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. And then raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Hold on to your knees, elevate your heart area upwards, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Take a deep inhalation in through the nose. And then turn to the right side, drawing your abdomen across. Get the belly button to point at the right knee and beyond it. Turn from the abdomen first, and then the ribs, and then the shoulders, keeping the neck soft. Just looking forwards rather than over the shoulder. Use each subsequent exhalation to move more deeply into the turn. Keep the back hand pressing into the floor or into the cushion that you're sitting on so that you can roll onto the front edge of the seat bones. And then come back to the centre. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the left. Using the breath and the back hand in the same way as you did on the other side. Using the out breath to turn, using the back hand to elevate the heart area, to roll onto the front edge of the seat bones. Gently come back to the centre. Come off your lift and then sit back on your heels. So sit back on your heels, sitting on the big toes. So have the big toes together, the knees apart, just sitting back on your heels, allowing the shins to make contact with the mat. Press the shin bone into the shin skin. Shin bone into the shin skin. Activating the thighs and then elevating the heart area up to the ceiling. Press the palms forwards. Hit the seat bones back into the heels. Press the palms away. And then bring the forehead down. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Come up onto your knees, turn your toes under, and then come up into dog down. If you're not doing dog down, do dandasana or baddha. So sitting with your legs outstretched, extending the spine up towards the ceiling. Breathe in through the nose. And regardless of which of those poses that you're doing, apart from baddha, activate the kneecaps, press the kneecaps through to the backs of the knees. Activate the thighs, lifting the fronts of the thigh muscles up towards the tops of the legs. And turn the fronts of the thighs inwards. Push the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs so that you lengthen into the spine. Push the palms into the floor in dog down. Lift the seat bones up towards the ceiling.
Observe your internal balance of action. Just listen to how the body responds to the pose. Listen to your activation. Does it feel even on both legs? Does it feel even between the two legs and to the two arms? So go inside the physical sensations of the pose and observe it from the inside. Observe and balance. Get the less willing side of the body to follow the more willing side. Step forwards, come up into a standing position, and then get a couple of blocks for your hands, and then have your feet as wide apart as the mat. Just line up your toes. Feel that your heels are touching the edge of the mat. So use your sense of touch to identify that the heel is touching the edge of the mat. Feel that the little toes are touching the edge of the mat. Have a quick look, make sure that they are. It doesn't matter too much if they overlap slightly, but what we want is the toes to be big toes to be significantly closer together than your heels. Stamp the big toe into the floor and stretch into the little toe side of the foot. Have your hands on your hips. Lift from the abdomen to the diaphragm, to the collarbone, to the chin. And then hinge at the hips, come forward. Hinging at the hips. And then release your hands down. Tighten the kneecaps. Push the fronts of your thighs through to the backs of the thighs. Project into the chin and the chest. So we're not just doing kind of positions, we're using the time on the mat to wake up the body and to wake up the mind. So be in the pose, observing it. If you can go down lower, then do. Activate your legs as you were in dog down. Feel and observe for that balance of action. In yoga, action comes after observation. Without observation, we're just doing gymnastics. So observe the sensation of the pose from the inside. Aim for balance of action. Both legs working as a mirror image of each other. And chances are they probably don't. So you have to, that's where the work is, you have to observe and balance. Consciously balance. Okay, bring your hands into your hips and then come up into a standing position and then come into tadasana. Just observe how the body has woken up a little. So the big toes are together, the heels are together, tighten the kneecaps. Turn the fronts of your thighs inwards so that the backs of the thighs turn outwards. Tuck the tailbone in without disturbing the legs. Draw the belly button to the spine, lift the abdomen to the diaphragm. Elevate the heart area to the ceiling. Lengthen your shoulders down away from your ears. Spread into the fingertips, into the fingernails. Let the neck rise out of the shoulders drawing away from the ears.
So there are juxtapositions. Just observe them. Activate them. Bring your arms out nice and wide in toward your chest, and then step or jump your feet apart nice and wide with the legs for trikonasana. And then turn the left toes in slightly, the right leg and foot all the way out. And then bring the hips to face the front, hips to face the front, chest to face the front. And then consciously turn the fronts of the legs from the big toe side to the little toe side, especially of this front leg, from the big toe to the little toe. So you're turning the inner thigh to the outer thigh. Do the same with the back leg. And then reach down, find the shin. Just observe how the pose feels for you this morning. Is there any little surprises to be found? So if you've got your hand on your hip, that's absolutely fine. Just rotate that top shoulder towards the back of the room. So you draw the abdomen up to the ceiling. You turn the whole of the torso up to face the ceiling. Go back into the legs. Observe how they are activating. Are they activating evenly? Chances are in this pose you lose the back leg. You forget about the back leg altogether. So go back into that balance of action and observe. Observe the pose for balance, for evenness. Reach up, come back to the centre, swap the feet around, turn the right toes in and the left leg and foot all the way out. So just have a look at your feet. Just make sure that this heel lines up either with the toes or the instep of the back foot, never with the heel. So just adjust if you're not quite in alignment. And then tighten the kneecaps. Turn the legs, turn the upper leg all the way up into the socket from the inside out. Reach over, find the shin, and then look up. Observe how the pose feels on this side. Does it feel different to how it felt last time? Everyone bring your hand onto your hip and then turn the chest up to face the ceiling. Turn that top shoulder towards the back of the room behind you. And then relift. Or keep your hand on your shoulder if that's how you're working today. Turn the front of the leg from the inside to the outside. Both legs. Feel that balance of action in the legs. Observe how the pose clears the sinuses if you can look upwards. If I'm holding you too long in the pose, then come out of it. But if you can stay and maintain, then do. Listening to the breath. Reach up, come back to the centre, bring your feet parallel. And then step or jump the feet back together, come back into tadasana. So breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Just focusing on filling the lungs from the bottom to the top, emptying the lungs from the top to the bottom. Just listening to the sound of the inhalation and the sound of the exhalation. Okay, we're going to do virabhadrasana 1. So I'm just going to move my mat so I kind of run out of ceiling height quite significantly for this one. But
I'll see if I can manage it. So lift up into the chest, bring your arms out nice and wide, in toward your chest, and then step or jump your feet nice and wide. A little, about the same, maybe slightly less than for trikonasana. Turn the left toes in steeply and the right leg and foot all the way out with your hands on your hips. Now at this stage, you'll probably feel like this back hip gets stuck. It's really hard to swing the hips around evenly. So pick up the back heel and then turn that back heel all the way out so that the legs are effectively back in trikonasana. They're turning inwards. Keep your hands on your hips. So in the full pose, we raise our arms over our head like this. If that's difficult for you today, you can just do it with the arms outstretched to the side, or just keep your hands on your hips. Otherwise, we'll do the pose with the arms outstretched. So just feel at first that the hips are level, that you can bring this back leg hip around. So that demands that you turn that front thigh inwards in tadasana action. Turn the front thighs of both legs inwards. And then lift up out of the back heel. Press the back heel into the floor and then lift the spine up to the ceiling. And then we're going to bend the front leg. Keep the hands on the hips as you go. Bend that front leg and find a right angle. The back heel might lift, don't worry about that. Just find that right angle. Then you can stretch your arms out to the sides or keep your hands on your hips. Turn the palms up, then reach up. Extend to the ceiling. Keep the hips level. Keep the thighs turning inwards. Bend that knee. Find a right angle with that front leg. So you might have to step a bit wider apart. Even if the heel lifts of the back leg, keep extended into it. Breathe deeply. In through the nose and out through the nose. Okay, come back to the centre. Good right angle there, cat. Release the hands. Just let the body recover. Turn the right toes in as steeply as you can. Turn the left leg all the way out. So if you notice, I've got this little banister thing. Sometimes I kind of use that. It helps to kind of balance as you turn. So you can use that if you need it. Turn that back leg, that heel all the way out. Then bring the heel back down. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards. Have your hands on your hips. Just feel that your hips are level with each other. That this back leg hip isn't further back than the front leg hip. Sweep across from the buttock to the hip of that back leg. And then keep that back leg really firm, tighten the kneecap, turning the thigh inwards. And then bend the knee, find a right angle. So with your hands on your hips to start off with, and then stretch your arms out to the side, turn the palms up, and then reach up to the ceiling. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Listen to the breath. Just you might have to creep away a little. Find that right angle with that front leg. Reach up to the ceiling. Listen to the breath. Keep the hips level. Keep turning that back leg from the little toe side to the big toe side, the front of the thigh. Reaching from the abdomen to the diaphragm to the collarbone. Okay, and then come back to the centre. And then step or jump the feet back together. And then come back into tadasana, just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Just give me a little indication, thumbs up, sideways down. Good, okay, bad. Okay, good. Just be in tadasana. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards, tuck the tailbone in. Draw the belly button to the spine. So we're going to go into uttanasana. If you've got a problem with your back, or if you don't want to bring your head lower than your heart, then just use something like this, like the back of a chair, or a tabletop, or a windowsill for your hands. Otherwise, bring your feet hip width apart, turn your toes in, raise your arms up, lengthen up into the sky. Hook the thumb into the crease of the elbows, wrap your fingers around your elbows. Keep the elbows lifted as you come forwards. Keep the back straight as you come forwards, hinging entirely from the hips. And then just allow the body to hang down. Just observing how this pose feels for you this morning. I feel particularly stiff around the lower back and around the hips. So if it's stiffness around the lower back, often it's good to go higher up. I think my back feels okay, but I definitely feel stiff around the hips in this forward bending action. So just observing without judging. Keep the legs firmly lifting out of the feet. Pressing the feet into the floor, lifting the shins away from the feet, lifting the shin bones out of the socket, lifting the kneecap away from the shins, lifting the thigh bone away from the kneecap, lifting the thighs all the way up into the hip socket. Just breathing, even and deep inhalations and exhalations. Just feel how your body responds to the pose. If you feel adverse responses, then come out of the pose. Okay, release your hands down to the floor and then come back into half uttanasana. Stay in half uttanasana if you're not doing dog down. Put blocks under your hands if you can't reach. Otherwise, walk your hands towards the end of your mat. Have your hands shoulder width apart. Step your feet back, have your feet hip width apart, and then just come up into dog down, or stay in half uttanasana, activating the legs, turning the fronts of the thighs inwards, keeping the kneecaps tight and lifting the fronts of the thighs up to the top of the leg, the thigh bone up into the hip socket. Breathing, even, deep inhalations and exhalations. Just listening to the breath. Okay, and from there just come down onto your knees, or if you're in Dandasana you can stay in Dandasana. Just sit in, observing your energy, observing the lightness of your energy. Just listen to the sound of the inhalation and the sound of the exhalation. If you're still in Dandasana, then come into virasana, just sitting back on your heels, and then come forwards into Adho Mukha Virasana. So sitting back on the heels, stretching forwards, bringing your head down, but the principal action is to keep the seat bones down on the heels. And then to lengthen from the hips into the armpits, into the elbows, the wrists, the palms, spreading the hands really broadly. Lengthening from the fingertips into the fingernails.
And then just sit yourself back on your heels and spend a few moments just to observe your energy, to observe the feeling of lightness from the inside. And then sit either on a lift or directly on the floor. Come into cross legs. So just come into cross legs for a moment. We're going to go into upavistha konasana. So have a folded blanket handy, and I think we're all going to sit on the folded blanket. So we don't always sit on the folded blanket, but let's do it today. So have some blocks where you can reach them, and then I want you to sit yourself onto your folded blanket. So just sit on the folded blanket and then stretch your legs out in front. Just roll over, move the buttock flesh out to the sides, and then just observe how just sitting with the seat bones on the folded blanket gives you a little additional lift in the spine. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards, lift up into the chest. If you haven't got a folded blanket, then just sit on a cushion. Breathing in through the nose up to the chest, and then bring the legs wide for upavistha konasana. So just feel that you can roll onto the front edge of the seat bones. Roll onto the front edge of the seat bones, and you can turn the backs of the thighs outwards so that the fronts of the thighs naturally roll inwards. So from the little toe side to the big toe side, tadasana legs. Get this inner knee to roll down to the floor. Flex the heel and make sure that the big toes are pointing towards the ceiling. If they're not rolling out to the side. If they're rolling out to the side, then you're probably doing this. Sinking in the chest and letting the legs roll outwards. So roll the legs inwards, roll onto the front edge of the seat bones. Have the blocks in front. Have the blocks in front, and then be on the fingertips. So have them so you're not leaning forwards. Have them on the fingertips. Just feel the seat bones on the folded blanket, and then roll the fronts of the thighs inwards consciously, lengthening those inner knees down towards the floor. Press the fingertips onto the blocks, and then lift from the abdomen to the diaphragm, to the collarbone, lifting the heart area, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Now you might want to just stay here. If you've got a bad back, coming forwards in this pose can be, pretty significantly challenging and probably not brilliant for a stiff back. So you can stay here and just press the fingertips into the floor, keeping the shoulders down, lifting up into the chest. You can always raise your arms over your head if you prefer. Otherwise, we're going to come forward. So walk the blocks forwards. Make sure you're not going to fall off your folded blanket. So make sure that you just get yourself prepared. If you're coming forwards, then you come forwards lifting from the abdomen to the diaphragm, lifting the collarbone. Keep walking the blocks forwards, pressing the hands into the floor. You can stay on the fingertips, or you can press the palms into the floor. But if that makes you drop the chest, then go back to the fingertips. Lift the chest. Keep going forwards. You can lower the blocks a little. So we come forwards, but all the time we come forwards with a lifted chest, with a lifted head. The head lifted is really important. Just feel how your body is today. Keep lengthening into those legs. So try not to round your back in. You're kind of rounding your back. Keep the head lifted. Keep the shoulder blades drawing forwards towards the front chest. So just stay at that first stage if coming forwards is too strong. Okay. And then walk your hand back. Just observe how quietness comes over the brain from coming out of a forward bend. And then get the legs, get hold of the backs of the knees and bring the feet together in baddha konasana. Just feel how maybe there's more openness in the hips after upavistha. So upavistha konasana into baddha konasana. Hold onto the big toes. Elevate the abdomen to the diaphragm, to the collarbone, to the chin. Drawing the shoulders down away from your ears. If you find it, because sometimes if you're sitting on a lift, it's more difficult to hold on to the big toes. Sometimes that makes you drop in the chest. If that's the case for you, then hold on to the shins. And hold on to the shins, almost like you want to pull the shins up away from the floor, but then stamp them down. And then lift the front chest. Keep the chest open. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Soft in the jaw and in the tongue and in the throat. Just bring the legs into swastikasana, just normal cross legs. And sitting on the left, hold on to the knees. Spread the palms so you really broaden the palm, and then bring the palm onto the knee. Lengthen the fingers away from the palms. Hold onto the knee and then lift up into the chest, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Spend a little time focusing on filling the lungs evenly. Filling the lungs from the bottom to the top, emptying them from the top to the bottom. With an exhalation, gently turn to the right side, drawing your abdomen across your ribs and your shoulders. Using the out breath to intensify the turn, digging the back hand into the floor so that you stay sitting on the front edge of the seat bones. As you turn to the right, try not to let your weight roll onto the right seat bone. Draw the abdomen across. Come back to the centre, hold onto your knees, lift up into your chest, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the left. Just using the pose to again, just draw your attention into the seat bones. To use the pose to draw your attention inwards. gently come back to the centre.
Down onto your back and just use the folded blanket for your head. Just come down into Supta Baddha Konasana. So just a quietening pose. It's a good alternative to an inversion. Just bringing you quietness. If you'd rather do an inversion, you can hold onto the sides of the mat, bend your knees, and then stretch your legs up into viparita karanhi. But sometimes it's just good to re-ground yourself. So use your Supta Baddha Konasana to just bring groundedness to the body. Feel where the body makes contact with the floor. Does it feel even? If you had ink on you, would you leave a perfectly symmetrical imprint on the floor, or would it be like kind of more on one side than on the other? So just bring that sensitivity into the skin. Feel where the body consciously makes contact with the floor. Just hold on to your lower ribs and observe the breath. Feel as you inhale the abdomen rise, as you exhale the abdomen lower. Every inhalation is affirmation of our continued existence on the planet. So embrace every inhalation as a gift of life. Filling our lungs with the vitality of the universe. The inhalation is our commune with the universal. We're accepting in the energy of the universe, which becomes part of the blood, which then is pumped around the body, and that vitality of the universe permits every cell of the body to function optimally. So I'm not asking you to hold the breath at all, just to observe it, to observe the energy of the breath. To appreciate the gift that it brings us. So just normal inhalations, normal exhalations, just communing with the universal energy that surrounds us, feeling it on the skin, feeling the air that surrounds us touching the skin, feeling the skin from the face to the feet. So I'm not asking you to control the breath, just to acknowledge its presence, acknowledge its value.
Gently draw your knees together. Have your knees together and your feet apart. Just letting the hips rest in the opposite direction for a moment. And then just stretch your legs out. Come up onto your elbows. Make sure you're in a really good straight line along the floor. Cover yourself up if you feel like you might be chilly. Just guide yourself down in a really good straight line. Just move equipment out of the way if it's in the way. And then allow the physical body to become heavy on the floor. Let go of the arm and the leg muscles, unhooking them so that the body becomes consciously heavy on the floor for a moment. But out of that heaviness, perhaps you observe an irrepressible lightness that radiates from the bones and into the muscles. From the bones into the muscles, into the organs. Observing that irrepressible lightness radiating from the bones into the muscles and into the organs and the flesh and the skin. Using your in-breath and your out-breath to distribute that feeling of lightness evenly down into the toes, into the fingertips, into the top of the head. Just acknowledging that feeling of energetic lightness. Just basking in that energetic lightness for a moment longer. And then when you're ready, wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers, bend your knees in towards your chest, have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom, just a gentle massage on the spine. And then roll over onto your right side. Just stay down for a breath or two. And then straighten out the top leg, come back up into a seated position. Just cross legs with your hands in the masti, a final spinal lift. Draw your inhalation down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy you've released through your practice this morning, that good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions and the forward bends and the twists bring to the body and to the mind. And then draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you've created inside, around the heart area. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. And then release the backs of your hands down towards your knees, palms facing upwards. And as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. So hopefully you feel as though you have really lifted your energy, giving yourself good positive energy to put into your day. Thank you very much for joining me.